What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back, T Mike TV React. We got another one. We got a banger for you. How's everybody doing? Let's start off on a good positive note. I hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's in good health, good spirit, good mojo, all that good stuff. Welcome to the channel. We're a growing community. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. You guys should like, comment, and join the family. Today's videos are going to be some videos that make you question everything that you learn. What are they really hiding from us? We're going to check these out, these videos. But what I will preface it by saying, don't believe anything you see in the videos. Do your own research. And for those that are interested, the music in the background is by Quinn Flo. Y'all go check him out. His music's out there, it's banging. Got a lot of hits. But without any further ado, let's get into the video.
I thought they was lying when they said that the people are selling us fake bread. I really thought they was lying. But this bread is actually not freaking real. I balled it up and it opened right back up 3 times.
Fake
I'm gonna ball
bread?
it up again for you all just so you can see that this is not real bread. Balled it up tight as I can.
Now, before he continued this experiment, I remember when I was young, I take a loaf of bread, not a loaf, but a slice of bread. If I was to ball it up into a ball, it'd stay in a ball because it's dough. This, this here, let's see what happens.
Watch it. Watch it.
Okay.
Watch it. It's gonna open itself right back up.
Okay.
And I tried this with another piece of bread, a different brand, and it did not do it. This bread opened right back up like it was nothing. This is sad. This is scary. Barely can see the creases where I folded it. This is scary.
Okay, how many of you guys out there eating that fake bread? How many of y'all going to get that fake bread? Huh? Let's keep it moving.
The Wall of Gog and Magog. You didn't know that's what the ancient Great Wall of China really was? You didn't know it was built to keep giants out? Gog of Magog, by the way, and other giants in the land of Tartaria, Tartarus, sort of a Nephilim prison connection there, is what the wall was for. You may have even seen recent videos that show the wall where the side between what is now China and Russia, where the bow and arrow slits really were. They were facing towards China. They were defending something coming from over there, which ancient legends tell you were giants. Gog and Magog, also called Juj and Majuj in Muslim mythology, will also make their return at the end of time. And when they do, they're going to swallow up all the water. This makes me think of Revelation, when one of the trumpets is blown. Fallen angels are released from underneath the Euphrates River.
They say this is the Great Wall of China. But from what I've done in my personal research, this wall was not to protect China from the outside. It's to protect. When y'all look at these walls, you're going to see the side that has the side where the arches will be on, it's facing China. So what are we really looking at here?
When it dries up. Sounds a lot like Juj and Majuj, somehow drying up the Euphrates River and then coming across. Giants with magical powers. That's what the wall was built for. Also, there are two wars of Gog and Magog. One is referred to the Gog of Magog. It seems to be pre-tribulation.
I keep coming across Tartaria.
And one is at the end of the millennial
Even
reign.
in the Bible.
Why I say the war of Gog and Magog probably starts the tribulation is because you see that there's a 7-year treaty where they pick up weapons and clean up dead bodies. That's probably the same 7-year treaty that the tribulation is based off of. Lots more coming on Revelation, including, in my opinion, the definitive timeline. Also, if you check out old maps, anything that was beyond the Great Wall of Gog and Magog, you see words besides Tartarus references. You'll see lots of Nephtalia, Nephal, Nephilim, names of places. That's why. That was the land of giants. And even around the Ring of Fire, there probably was a land that they called Atlantis or Mu that was destroyed. Probably why the Ring of Fire is there. Just totally sunk down. The mysterious realm, hiding giants, hiding the real history. What else don't they want you to know? Follow my YouTube channel, The Savage Truth. Peace out.
So obviously, my question to you is, how do y'all feel about that? What do y'all think that wall was originally built for? Make sure y'all leave that in the comments below. Let's keep it rolling.
World War I is from 1492 to 1775, when America was attacked by 7 countries simultaneously for 283 years. They bombed this place. Russia took Alaska, Netherlands took Canada, British and
Makes
England
sense.
took the East Coast. Italy took Texas up to the Gulf. France took New Orleans up the Gulf. And Spain came around the West Coast down through Argentina, Chile, and up the backside. 7 countries attacked Black America. In 1775, we surrendered and lost the right to vote. They put us in slavery camps. They labeled them reservations, and the ones that did not go on reservations was labeled Negro.
A lot of validity to
World
that,
War
y'all.
I is from
I want y'all to
1490.
understand. A lot of validity what he just said. You got to do your research, find out what was hidden from us in history. A lot of people that look like me growing up in the 60s and 70s, we've all heard that phrase, you got Indian in you. The Indian meaning the classification that was given to the group of people that was here by another group of people that came here from another country. But I did some personal research, found out that I'm both Cherokee, Blackfoot, and Jamaican, not African American. I'm part of the original. Well, you know what? People, do your research, man, because everything that was taught to you in these institutions, it's not exactly what happened here. Remember, history is told by the victor. Let's continue.
What if we had the full story? What if we knew as recently as 1944 there were maps that were used for flight school that depicted Antarctica as a circle around all the known continents? What if we knew that very similar maps from 1892, literally 1892, depicted the exact same thing as Antarctica, a circle around all the known continents, mapped out with perfect terrain? What if we knew that there were more maps that depicted similar things from hundreds of years ago? Maps like the Montes map of 1587 that literally depict a circular barrier
Ice.
around all the other known continents. And then in the middle isn't just vast wasteland of the Arctic
What's
Ocean.
really going on?
No, there's land depicted in the center of all the other
Question
continents.
everything,
Land
y'all.
that looks like this. Maps like the Mercator map from the 16th century that depicted the North Pole not as nothing but frozen water, but islands surrounding a mysterious black rock. A giant black rock that maybe all of our compasses point right to. What if they taught us about the distant early warning line, which is literally 1,000-mile surveillance set up right around that North Pole? And while their claim is to see if anyone is coming across the globe from Russia to the United States, what if it was really surveillance to know if you were getting close to the center that they don't want you to know about. The center that on a globe they tell you is nothing but
Think
water.
about it.
Empty
Don't
wasteland.
be so quick to
Frozen
write
water.
stuff off.
What if they taught us in the history books about Operation High Jump, where Admiral Byrd, the most established and decorated admiral in the Navy's history, took thousands of men to Antarctica to supposedly explore the ice shelves? What if we knew that mission ended abruptly and Admiral Byrd himself said that we should expect not attacks from the sea in the future, but from the air? What if we were taught
we're
that
gonna get
Antarctica
into
was
that
the
too.
highest elevated land in all of the world? More than double for the rest of the known world. What if we were taught about Operation Deep Freeze, where again Admiral Byrd went back to Antarctica to explore the highest elevated land, and it came back and looked an awful lot like a never-ending wall, one that went on and on and on as far as the eye could see. Kind of reminds me of those maps we talked about earlier and how each one depicted Antarctica as a ring around us with geography and terrain all mapped out. What if they told us about Operation Fishbowl, aka Operation Dominic, where they sent a series of high altitude nuclear tests up into the atmosphere? Oh, and Operation Fishbowl, aka Operation Dominic, just happens to translate to belonging to God. And well, what if they showed us what that operation looked like? And then you can compare it to what a bullet looks like when it's impacting something. And see that it seems that those missiles being fired into the air weren't just blowing up, but impacting something. Because when you compare, they look awfully similar. What if they showed us these things? What if they showed us that all those old maps that we see that have what seems to be Antarctica surrounding us looks exactly like the United Nations flag? And what if they showed us that both the North and the South have treaties preventing independent
Let's take note of that. Look at each one of those images currently being used today. It's not something back from the 50s, 30s, 40s, 1800s, 1700s. These are currently being used today. It's the UN flag. It's in your face, but they want you to believe. Well, let's continue, y'all.
travel and exploration for anyone other than supervised trips. What if they showed us what stars actually looked like through real telescopes with your own eyes instead of NASA's version of them? This is the star Betelgeuse, courtesy of my good friend David Shane. I don't know
Hello.
about you, but that doesn't look like a burning ball of gas quintillions of miles away. What if we had the full picture? What if we knew all these things?
Are you
What
picking
if
up
we
what
knew
I'm
all these
putting
things
down?
before we were programmed at the age of 3 to believe that we lived on a spinning ball where the South Pole was nothing but an ice shelf continent and the North was nothing but frozen water? What if we knew these things before we were told to believe that we were spinning thousands of miles per hour around the sun and traveling infinitely faster throughout the galaxy, supposedly to never return to the same place twice? And what if they showed us that star trails just repeated circles over our head over and over and over again before they programmed our minds to believe we were traveling infinitely throughout the solar system in infinite space? What if you had all this information? Do you think you would still believe you live where water can curve magically around a ball and stick upside down, holding it, us, and even boats to it upside down, but allow the clouds to magically float up into the air? What if we had all the information? Do you think you'd still believe the way you do? I'd like to take this time to encourage any of you who know what
What
I know
are
about
they
where we
hiding?
live to post this, just to get people thinking. I'd like to encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone and share this with people. Maybe, just maybe, you might cause someone to
I
think,
can't wait to
what
do a
else haven't
live
they told
stream
us? What
once I
else
learn
don't we
how.
know? And what else could I see possibly different than I do today? Because you never know when that thing you question might just open a door for you that you never knew existed, or at least knew existed but never believed could be real, could be truth, and could change your life. Change your life for the absolute best, where you have no fear. No fear of dying, no fear of chemtrails, no fear of them poisoning our food, just ultimate faith in God. God and being an infinite spiritual being just here for an experience. And no, you know that every civilization that ever existed knew we lived under a dome, right?
The
Well,
only one is
except
NASA.
this one, of course. Entertainment purposes.
Now, again, I'm not telling you what to believe or what not to believe. Pardon me, but isn't it obvious? We keep hearing that we're in the most highly technological age, and I don't believe that. I believe they were way more advanced in the past than we are currently right now. But again, we're gonna keep it moving. We got some more for you. Like, what's going on here? We're always hearing about there's always structures underground, tunnels, cities. We see these billionaires building bunkers. What about our past are they not telling us? Then the question remains is why lie about it? We're gonna keep it going, y'all. It don't stop.
They've been hiding the true answer to this question from us. Why are these doors and windows halfway in the ground? In the early 19th century, strange events were reported worldwide. Cities were uncovered from layers of mud, revealing buildings buried up to their rooftops. A global disaster seemed to have buried entire civilizations, erasing them from history. But here's where it gets unsettling. The Tartarian Empire. Tartaria was an advanced empire shown on old maps, spread across Europe and Asia. They built amazing structures, had advanced technology, and could harness energy from the atmosphere. Some believe the mud flood was meant to erase Tartaria and hide their knowledge. But it gets even darker. Look at
this
the
may
World's
not
Fairs
resonate with
of the
everybody.
late 1800s. These grand buildings were said to be built in just a few years and then demolished after the
Now, this may not resonate with everybody, but certain people that's always question things, this might be the beginning of your rabbit hole right here.
the fairs. Was this done to erase evidence of a lost, advanced civilization? The Chicago World Fair in 1893, the Paris Exposition in 1900, and the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. The sudden disappearance of these structures makes one wonder if they were remnants of the Tartarian Empire, hidden as temporary exhibits and destroyed to hide their origins.
Mud flood. For the past several years, I kept coming across the term mud flood, Tartaria, Tartarus.
The Tartaria
We're not
mud
done,
flood
y'all.
theory is a controversial hypothesis that suggests a catastrophic event took place in the 18th or 19th century, resulting in a massive flood of mud that covered entire cities and wiped out entire civilizations. According to this theory, the civilization of Tartary, which was once a powerful empire that covered a large part of the Eurasian continent, was destroyed by this event, and its existence was deliberately erased from history by the ruling elite. One of the main pieces of evidence cited by proponents of the Tartaria mud flood theory is the presence of mysterious buildings and structures in various parts of the world that seem to be older than the officially recognized timeline of human history. These structures, known as megaliths, are often made of large stone blocks that would have been impossible to move and erect using the technology available at the time they were supposedly built. Another piece of evidence cited by proponents of the Tartaria mud flood theory is the strange architectural features found in many old buildings in Europe and elsewhere. These features, such as strange windows and doorways, seem to have no practical purpose and are unlike anything found in modern architecture. Proponents of the theory argue that these features are remnants of an older civilization that was destroyed by the mud flood. There are also claims that the Tartaria mud flood theory is supported by geological evidence. Some researchers have pointed to the presence of sedimentary layers in certain regions of the world that seem to indicate a massive flood event took place at some point in the past. Other researchers have claimed that the soil samples from various parts of the world contain high levels of unusual substances, such as iridium, that are typically associated with meteor impact.
Just throwing this out there. If you notice that every civilization, ancient civilization, culture, or whatever you want to call it, everyone has a period where they talk about the Great Flood, the deluge, all over the place. Now, I'm just saying, if there was a flood, a great flood that covered the earth, how would it cover a ball? Doesn't even logically make. But we're going to continue.
Or other catastrophic events. Proponents of the Tartaria mud flood.
We're not done.
1976 World's Fair, where they have people walking around, but the roads are completely just covered in mud. And I found a picture from an old stereoscope. There's tracks there. You had technology that was already here. You had the electric, like we said, electric trolleys, electric trains, electric all these things. Now you cover it up with mud, and then you say, oh, well, 1920s, now we have that. You know, now it's coming out and things like that. These buildings are the ones where you would walk into and wonder what is going on. You know, I went to New York City, and I went to some of the cathedrals in downtown New York City. And you just see these buildings, they're so out of place. You see this building, it looks like, it's like stone antennas coming out of the earth. And then you see all these square box buildings next to it, you know? And you're sitting there going, this looks totally out of place. And the reason that a lot of these things were torn down is because, number one, they had technology, such as gas light bulbs, which were installed into all of them. And then number two, it makes you question everything. You know, if you were told that you came over here on horse and wagon, Oregon Trail, you know, your mule died of dysentery and whatever.
Think about it, y'all.
Programmed you as a kid, then you would believe that that's what was taking place. But it seems to me, because the farther I go back, the things don't add up.
All right. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I enjoyed your company. Hope we took away from a little something that we were witnessing here. Don't believe everything you hear, half of what you see, and do your own research. Sometimes it's good to get out there and experience things for yourself. But with that being said, thank you for hanging out with me. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Join this growing community. We're on our way to 1,000, and I'll see you next video.